1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, 2 racing. Formula. welcome to round 9 of the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 F2 Sprint Series for the Belgium Grand Prix. My name is Expert and I'll be your commentator for today's race. The F2 circus has moved on to the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for today's race, and this will be one of the races all the drivers will want to win. The 7-kilometer circuit has a total of 20 corners with 9 to the left and 11 to the right, making it the longest track on the F1 World Championship calendar. We're going to have a quick look now. As you can see on your screen now, the drivers' standings. Plebs leads away at the moment. He's got 64 points between him and who's that behind him? 22 I should say, for the Viterci team. Plebs is on 238 points and 40 is on 174. Gasly 10 is currently sitting in P3 at the moment on 123. Useless is a cat in 4th on 94 points, with 3 points ahead of Geordie F1 in the Sauber car. Behind him, the reserve driver of F1 Amazing in P6. P7 is Crossy for Viterci. P8 will be the art driver of Flying Jippo. P9 will be Campos of Chain Game Wow, and then it will be the Prema, actually, of Banana Josh, that splits the two Camposes for P10, and then behind him, obviously, it is Dr. Dre. The other Campos driver in P11, P12 on 34 points will be Go01 GT. P13 is Zephy. P14 is the Trident driver of Ken Tenma, who's going to definitely be wanting to move up a few positions this race, considering where his teammate is on the championship standings. Armchair Bike, one of the new drivers, is in P15. BK for the Carlin team in P16. 17th will be the other ART driver of Suma. P18 Suma. P19 will be Arianx, and rounding out top 20 will be Giacurobold 1. Now we're going to have a quick look, as you can see, at your constructors' standings. Sorry, I apologize for that. The Trident team leads the way on 266 points. They don't actually have a very big margin at the moment to the Viterci team behind, so that can definitely be a little tight battle, as there's 4 rounds remaining in these championships, so that could be definitely one to watch. Campos team MP3 as well for on 186. They're a little bit behind the front too, so they're going to have a little bit of work to do to catch up. Then it will be the Dams team MP4. P5 will be MP Motorsports, and on 109 points will be the Sauber Junior team. P7 will be ART. P8 Prema on 77. P9 will be Carlin, and rounding out your constructors table will be the Arden team, only on 29 points, so they're definitely going to be wanting to try and gain up their points a little bit more, most likely. But we're waiting for the drivers now to head out for their qualifying session. Sorry, I tried to rush it because I don't normally get all the qualifying lap in, because it is only a one-shot quali in this league. This will determine where you start for the feature race. Heading through Radion and El Rouge now. We're riding on board with Useless is a cat, who's unfortunately had a little of an incident there and put it into the wall. Then across, he seems like he's leading the way at the moment. He's got Plebs still behind him. Armchair now is unfortunately retired from the session with Useless is a cat. Now Crossy actually just lost a lot of positions going into the breaking point of Lake Com. Crossy's now got himself back up to P4 though. Nearly puts it in the wall there. Very close. So I'm just trying to make sure the streams are working. Anyway, Crossy's still going back down to P4. It looks like Geordie F1 now is still leading, is actually leading the way for MP Motorsports, I do believe that is. He's heading into the he's about to head into the third sector. Keeping it nice and tight through this long right-hander just to minimise the track distance. I'm trying to remember the corner names, I have no idea, but I know this one. This is the bus stop chicane. Final sequence of corners the drivers have to negotiate. Heading through it, very easy to run very deep into this corner. Gets through there, well, negotiates that pretty nicely though, does Geordie. Where's he going to come? Will he manage to grab pole position? By the looks of it, he does. He's up to 57.8. He's actually the only driver that managed to get into the 57s. Armchair Bike managed to squeeze into P2 for the Arden team. Then it will be Gasly 10 for Dams in P3, leading Crossy F1 in P4 on a 58.5. So you can see it's about 0.7 of a second between our top 4. Plebs will be MP5 for Trident as well. So that is your top 5, and we'll read out the rest of the grid in a minute. But then MP6, as you'll see on your screens now, it will be Dr. Dre for Campos, leading the Carlin driver of BK. Only 8 drivers managed to get in a lap without disqualifying it. For the one-shot qualifying, Ryan is Fat, Bullet Boy, Useless is a Cat, Chain Game, and Banana Josh, unfortunately, all disqualified their lap, leaving Ken Tenma MP8 for Trident. So that is your provisional result. That is your results for the one-shot qualifying, which will determine where the drivers start for the feature race around the Belgian Grand Prix. Let me know in the chat now your race predictions, but I'll be back with you shortly as we let the drivers head over to the grid for the Belgian Grand Prix. You can see on your screens now the drivers are heading out for their formation lap. Going to be a pretty long formation lap. 7 kilometers the drivers will have to negotiate just on their formation lap, so we'll be sitting here for a while. But anyway, Geordie F1, as we read out before, took our pole position. I do believe that is the MP Motorsports car. I just want to double check. No, it's actually the Sauber car. Okay, we don't have any MP Motorsport drivers near this up. We actually do. Useless is a Cat. Alright. I always get them mixed up. But anyway, Geordie for Sauber sits on pole position at the moment. Ahead of the Arden driver of Armchair Bike. Gasly 10 for Dams. Will be in P3. Then it'll be Cross F1 in P4. P5 will be Plebs in the Trident car. P6 will be Dr. Dre for Cam Boss. P7 will be the Carlin driver of BK XI. P8 behind him will be the other Trident driver of Ken Tenma. P9 will be Ryan is Fat, who's struggling to keep it on the track already on the formation lap, let alone then Bullet Boy in P10. 11, oh, they nearly make contact there, did Useless is a Cat, and Ryan is Fat. Chain Game Wow in P12 at the moment, and then Banana Josh will round out your grid here for the feature race of the Spec F1 Esports PS4 F2 Sprint Series. Geordie's about to head into the fastest sector. It's been a pretty long formation lap. But it'd be interesting to see what people do as strategy as well, if they do a long run into the race, or they end up doing, they try and potentially undercut a few drivers. I think what Geordie will be aiming to do is just pull away as soon as possible, get out of the drivers behind him or whoever's behind him to the RS. It doesn't look like there'll be any rain on the radar. You see the drivers are about to get on the grid now to form up for the feature race. Waiting for them all. By the looks of it, Banana Josh will be the last driver to... Actually, no, it won't be. It'll be Useless is a Cat to form up on the grid. He'll be the last driver to form up on the grid. All the drivers are waiting patiently for him now. The light sequence will begin in a minute. Green flags have been waved. You can see the light sequence is now beginning for the Belgian Grand Prix. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers. And they are underway. A very long hold there for the drivers, but it looks like Armchair got a very nice start there. He looks like Geordie, though, is going to be contested into turn 1. They're going to go side by side, heading into La Source. Does Geordie manage to keep the position? Armchair's trying to hang it around the outside. It looks like that he got the move done, though, did Armchair. He has his moved up into P1 now, very briefly, as now they go under the Emirates board, heading into El Rouge. Up, ready, on they go now. He actually runs a little bit wide there. Has Armchair now. Geordie's going to have the potential better run down the straight. That looks like Gasly there is also trying to make a move as well. We're going to run on board with Gasly, and they're going to make it 3 wide, heading down the Camel Straight. Well, who's going to back out of this? Someone's got to back out of it, or they're not going to make it. They're still making it 3 wide into the exit of the Camel Straight. Well, the end of the Camel Straight. I've already forgot the name of that corner. But anyway. Now it looks like Armchair Bike has dropped down back to P3, and now Gasly has moved up a spot into P2. Through Brussels they go. Pretty calm so far. Doesn't look like there's been any incidents on track. BK's actually dropped a few positions here. He's gone all the way back down to P13. There is actually an incident now, so now Bullet Boy has unfortunately spun around, heading into Brussels. The Viterci driver is unfortunately going to drop all the way back down to P13 with potential front wing damage. BK looks like he's actually got into an incident as well. He's dropped 5 positions down to P12. Dr. Dre is now moving himself up 1 position into P5 ahead of Crossy, who's dropped 2 off the start. Bullet Boy's now unfortunately retired from the session, so he'll be our first retirement for the day. Hopefully there is none. Well, no more, I should say. Heading up to Blanchimont they go. And that's actually there. We just got a perfect view of that. Gasly has just spun Armchair Bike. Who was that actually that he spun? Was it Armchair? He definitely spun someone. Now he's actually turned Geordie as well. So Gasly's... Actually, I'm not really sure what's happening. Geordie, I think, is lagging a little bit there. He's unfortunately lagged out of the session because I thought it was Geordie that he turned. But now that's unfortunate for Geordie. He's unfortunately lagged out of the session. So I wasn't too sure what was happening there. So Geordie off spun twice by the same driver through 3 corners. But anyway, they head up El Rouge now. Radion. So unfortunately Geordie has left the session and he's just joined back now. So hopefully he can get back in that car without losing too many positions. But Gasly now leads the way for the Dams team. He's got a 5/10 lead, just over 5/10 of a second between him and Armchair. Armchair is still managing to hold on with that Arden car. Plebs has now got himself up into P3. He's up 2 spots. So is Dr. Dre into P4. Crossy is now trying to make a move on Dr. Dre. They head into Brussels. They go. Will Crossy manage to make the move done? He's trying to hang it there. Is Dr. Dre, and it looks like Crossy's got himself up into P4. Nice job there from the Viterci driver of Crossy. Now Plebs has got his eyes on Armchair in front of him. He's got to try and make up a little bit of a gap though. He's got 7/10 of a second. He's got to try and make up. Crossy's got 1.4 seconds. He's got to try and make up as well on Plebs in front of him if he wants to get onto that podium position, or onto those podium positions. There is 13 laps as well for the feature race, which I do believe it will be 10, I think, for the sprint race. Now Dr. Dre's teammate, Chain Game Wow, was also right behind him as well. So this could be a little inter-team battle between the 2 Cambosh drivers. With a little bit of team orders come into play, but it looks like Banana Josh as well, down in P12, has unfortunately spun around for the Prema team. He's going to be dropping down heaps of positions, down to P12 he goes. BK still sitting in P11 at the moment. He's trying to catch up to Ken 10 Mile in P10. Useless is a cat in P9 at the moment. For MP Motorsports, Ryan is fat for Arden. Then it will be Geordie, who's unfortunately dropped heaps of positions due to him unfortunately lagging out of the session. He's right on the rear now of Chain Game Wow. Will he be able to make a move? He won't be able to do anything heading up El Rouge and Radion. Down the Camel Straight they go, heading into Lacom. It also looks like in front of them as well, Dr. Dre and his teammate Chain Game Wow going at it, but Geordie gets the move done. On chain game, it was actually Dr. Dre and Crosshair going at it, I should say. But it now looks like Dr. Dre has got that position back. On Crosshair F1, he gets very tail happy there. Did Geordie. Manages just to keep it on the track. The Vitersi and the Campos driver going at it still for the battle of P4. Dr. Dre just made a move. Down the Camel straight. He's actually run really wide there. Now will Dr. Dre have to seize the position here. Heading through Pool on they go. Crossy tries to give him as much room as possible. Not a place you really want to be going side by side through. Heading into the fast chicane section of the Spa circuit. Crossy looks like he's just narrowly ahead now of Dr. Dre. It looks like he's got the move done. Geordie's trying to stick his nose down the inside on that number 15 Campos car. Will he be able to manage to hold it around the outside? Dr. Dre's run a little bit deep into the corner, so that should give Geordie a toe or a very nice run down the straight. But it looks like Dr. Dre lost the rear massively there and forced Geordie to brake, but he had lost it again. Heading through that quick right kink of the corner there. Now Geordie's moving himself back up into P5 for the Sauber team. Dr. Dre had a lot of dirty air there heading through that corner. Now Geordie's got himself back up into P5. Armchair bike now goes fastest, as he now leads away ahead of Gasly. Unfortunately, I didn't get that on stream. I do apologise for that. But Gasly now has dropped back down to P2, but he may potentially get a move down his Plebs there. Unfortunately, he looks like he's dropped off that pack a bit there, has Plebs. But heading through, ready on NL Rouge now. Down the Camel straight, DRS available for Gasly 10 as he is within a second to the Arden driver. And now they're going to swap positions. And now Gasly goes back into the lead as they head into Lake Com for the 4th time in this Grand Prix. Geordie is actually now moved ahead of Crossy, so into P4 goes the Sauber driver. Moving up spots very quickly here. Now his armchair bike trying to make another move on Gasly 10. He's trying to stick his nose down there. Gasly leaves in the room, but the Dams driver is going to take the lead now. Into Poo on they go. No errors from either of the drivers there. Heading into the chicane section. Very easy to overestimate these corners. Your initial thinking is to run a lot deeper than what you should be through those corners, and it's very easy for you to run wider. There's not much camber on these corners. Majority of it is flat, I should say. So it is very easy to overcook the corner. But anyway, Armchair is now in the slipstream. No DRS available down the straight, or down that straight for Armchair. Banana Josh is unfortunately retired from the session now, so that makes it 2 retirements from the Belgium Grand Prix. Gasly 10 still leads away. They head on to lap 5 now for the Grand Prix. There's yellow flags here. Who's up for? I do believe that is Banana Josh, but now Gasly goes fastest with a 2 minute 1.1, but then Geordie very marginally, how do I say it? Wasn't much of a gap between him and Armchair Bike's fastest lap, Gasly's fastest lap. Ryan Fat now has got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Must have got some front wing damage because he is pitting very early in this Grand Prix. Now he will have DRS this time. Will Armchair Bike, will he defend the inside Gasly? It doesn't look like he is. He knows that he's not going to get or maintain that position, so they're just going to keep clopping as they head into Lake Com. He gets moved on now, so Armchair Bike now takes his lead back on Gasly 10. Try and look for some other battles on track, but it looks like Gasly 10 is currently the closest on track at the moment. Ken Tenma, well, actually looks like I should say BK has just got ahead of Ken Tenma for the battle of P10. BK will take home 1 point here for the feature race, as everyone in the top 10 is awarded points. In the sprint race, only the top 8 are awarded points, I do believe. But that is actually the gap there, as you can see. Ken Tenma has just exited La Source at turn 1, and Armchair Bike is about to start sector 3. I don't know if Ken Tenma actually got in a little bit of an incident with someone there, but Plebs is actually still falling off that little train there. Geordie is now catching up to the rear of the Trident car. Crossy trying to keep up with Geordie, but he's managed to pull actually a little bit of a gap now to the two camp bosses of Dr. Dre and Chain Game. Rhino Stats is still sitting in P8 at the moment for the Arden team. P9 will be Useless is a cat. And as we read out before, rounding out your top 10 will be BK taking home 1 point at the stage. I do believe it is still Gasly 10 that has the fastest lap, but there's 1/10 of a second between Gasly and Armchair Bike. They nearly made contact heading into the pit lane. Both the drivers go. They didn't get very close to them heading to the pit lane there, did Gasly, but all I saw was they nearly making contact. So I didn't get that on stream, but now it looks we're going to have to see here. Will the Dams team be able to make an undercut work, or a faster pit stop work here? Doesn't look like he's going to get held in the pits by the looks of it, unfortunately. He's actually lost a bit of time here now to Armchair. He lost a little bit more time through the pit stops. And now they're able to turn off the pit limiter and they can go back to racing speed. But he actually has lost a bit of time there, has Gasly. As you can see, that's the gap there, 2.6 seconds, and they were right behind each other. So a pretty slow stop there from the Dams team. That could potentially have costed Gasly 10 the race win. But Plebs, Geordie, Crossy, Chain Game all decided to stay out. I'm going to swap this over now to stop so we can see who has made a stop. So only our top 4 now have not made a stop in this Grand Prix. Them being Plebs, Geordie, Crossy, and Chain Game. Wow. So now Plebs leads the way. Geordie's really reeling in that Trident car. Will he be able to make a move? Potentially in the pit stops if the Sauber team give him a very nice pit stop. He could potentially, if he can get a bit closer, undercut in the pit stops. Plebs. Crossy still doesn't look like he's been able to hold on to the rear of Geordie F1. He's looking very quick at the moment. There's Geordie. This is a cat now. Down. Where is he? MP9 at the moment. Has just got himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cutting. Now, Plebs and Geordie actually stay out for an extra lap. So they're running pretty long into this race, to be honest. They are now starting lap 7 on this Grand Prix. They are now halfway through this race. Geordie is now right on the rear of Plebs. He wouldn't be surprised if he gets a move done heading into Lake Hom at the end of the Camel Straight. Heading up El Rouge and ready on now. He will have DRS available to Geordie. Will Geordie, and he's going to have a bit of slipstream. Plebs doesn't seem to be defending the position very much. He knows that Geordie is faster, and he'll probably be faster just to sit in his slipstream, as they will be making a pit stop very soon, both these drivers. Geordie doesn't get Lake Hom. Very right there. He ran a little bit deep, or overcooked the corner, trying to make the move on Plebs, but he still managed to keep it on track. So now that drops Plebs down to P2. Those two are actually the closest drivers on track at the moment. Then it will be BK and Kentenma. BK stayed out for another lap, but now Kentenma unfortunately just got himself a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Crossy looks like he's still sitting at that 2.2 mark, so I reckon if he can sit at that 2.2 mark for a little longer, he may be able to potentially at the end of the race, if Plebs or Geordie do chew their tyres up, he could be able to just sit there for a little while and potentially come back at the end of the race. He's got no pressure from Chain Game behind him in the Campos car, but will we see Geordie or Plebs in this lap? They are staying out for another lap. Geordie F1 now goes fastest. The first driver into the 2-minute deads. He said a 2-minute 0.957, I do believe that said. Now Crossy is in the pit lane for the Vitersi team. He'll be putting on the soft compounder tyre. Sorry, I didn't even realise that lane. But now Armchair And now, very quickly, after that, Gasly now goes fastest with the 2 minute flat 0.8. I didn't realise that, sorry, that the top 4 were all on medium tyres starting the Grand Prix. I didn't realise that, sorry. It's no wonder they were running a little bit longer into this race. And now on lap 8 of 13. 5 laps remain. We'll probably see Geordie and Plez maybe in this lap, because they are, if they want to maximise the amount of grip or the tyre wear of those soft tyres that they will be putting on, wouldn't be surprised if they do come into the pit lane this lap. That's actually Geordie there, they got that corner all wrong. Heading through Pironi, the second bite of Pironi, he looked like he just got a massive tank slapper, and unfortunately he lost the rear end of the car. He managed to keep it on the track though. Now this will give Plez a potential tow down the straight, heading into... It's not Blanchimont. It is Blanchimont. He's already lost a lot of time here as Plebs in that dirty air compared to Geordie. Heading into Blanchimont they go. Very lucky there from Geordie. Could have ruined his race at that moment. I just saw the back of that MP Motorsports car. So not MP Motorsports car, the Sauber car just get very tail happy through Pulon. But anyway, they both now come into the pit. Will we see Chain Game in the pit as well? Then all the drivers will have made a pit stop. We will. So the Campos driver now enters the pit lane. Will Plez potentially be able to get the undercut done on Geordie? We're going to watch Geordie to see how good of a pit stop the Sauber team do. Looks pretty good. And it doesn't look like Plez will get out ahead of Geordie. They are still around the same gap, but now Gasly's still going faster at the moment. They've actually all undercutted Geordie and Plebs. Actually, no, they were in the lead. I completely forgot about that. So now Armchair Bike still leads away. Gasly, after the pit stops, it was around 2.4 seconds, I do believe, when they came out of the pits, did Armchair and Gasly. The Dams team didn't deliver a very nice or very efficient pit stop to Gasly. So now, that did actually cost him around a second and a half to Armchair Bike. But he's actually managed to get that gap down to 1.6 seconds. So he is gaining on Armchair. Is Gasly 10. Geordie and Plez will definitely be one to watch. Same with Crossy. Crossy's managed to get ahead of Plebs in the pit stops as well. Dr. Dre and Chain Game, the two Camposes, have a little bit of a gap between them. It doesn't look like they'll be battling anytime soon, but Useless is the cat. Looks like he's starting to catch up to Brian is Fat in the Arden car. That'll definitely be one to watch. Plebs has now got an 8/10 gap between him and Crossy as well. Will he be able to make a move? He'll definitely be setting up a move heading into Lake Com at the end of the Camel Straight. He's just got to make sure he's within that DRS range of Crossy when he gets to the DRS detection zone. It's very marginal at the moment. It's around 9/10 of a second, 0.933, so it's really marginal at this stage. We're getting a very slight tow. Will Plez, but now that's actually Useless as the cat. Has moved ahead of Ryan is Fat. I think Ryan actually made a little mistake there. Heading through Puon. Now he moves himself up into P8. Does the MP Motorsports driver of Useless is the cat, but we're going to run back on board with Plebs, as he's going to have DRS down this main straight here. On cross the F1. It won't help him too much as it's not really long enough this straight. Heading into La Source they go. He will be in the slipstream and he will have DRS. Heading down the Camel Straight, Will Plebs. Through El Rouge, now ready on they go. Both drivers negotiate that pretty nicely. Plebs, actually I don't think he will be close enough unfortunately to make a move on this lap. He'll definitely gain a lot of time. As you can see, he is gaining up on that Vitersi come at a high rate of speed. I don't even think Crossy got over that 300 kilometer mark there. And Plebs is at around 314 k's an hour down that straight. Massive speed difference the DRS allows you to have. Crossy locks the inside front. They're heading through Brussels. That's going to potentially cost him very tail happy again. There is Crossy, runs it wide through the corner with no name. And now he's put it in the wall here. Has Crossy, did make contact. Doesn't look like he got any front wing damage, but they head into Puon now. So now Plebs gets ahead of Crossy, 4P4. Didn't actually have to do anything. There did Plebs. It's all Crossy's fault there, unfortunately. Ran a little bit wide through Brussels and then through the corner with no name. Had a lot of oversteer heading into the entry of the corner, which cost him all the way down that short straight heading into Puon. That's unfortunate there for Crossy. Armchair Bike, as there's 3 laps remaining in this Grand Prix actually. Still leads the way, he's got that gap now. Down to 9/10 of a second has Gasly, so at this stage he will have DRS, but he's got to make sure he has got that gap below 1 second when he crosses the DRS detection zone. Ran very deep into the bus stop chicane, but he will have DRS this lap, heading down the straight into La Source. Geordie now goes fastest in the Grand Prix. He is starting to catch up to these front two. Geordie obviously being on the soft compounded tyre compared to Gasly and Armchair on the medium, but will he have enough laps? Will Geordie, unfortunately, with that disconnection in the session, that cost him a little bit. Now Gasly does not actually have DRS this lap around down the Camel Straight, so that's unfortunate. He is going to have to push a little bit harder as they head into Lake Com now to make sure he's guaranteed that DRS or within that 1 second. Armchair Bike, sorry. Geordie will definitely really want to get at least onto that second step of the podium. So we'll have to see what his tyres are also doing as well, because he is on the soft compounded tyre, so he will be pushing very hard at this stage, so he will be chewing through that rubber. Crossy has now got a gap, or Plebs I should say, he's got that gap out to over a second between him and Crossy, so Crossy will not have DRS available to him as he runs a little bit wide due to him locking up inside front tyre. Runs a little bit wide again through that second part of the chicane. Heading down the back straight they go now. You can see that gap now between Plebs and Crossy is 1.4 seconds as they head into Blanchimont. Gasly doesn't look like he's got that gap. Under 1 second again for this next straight. But Armchair actually made a little error there heading through the bus stop chicane. He will not have DRS this lap as he was not within a second at the DRS detection zone. They head into La Source now. Armchair runs a bit deep again heading through La Source. And Gasly just losing the traction very marginally there. Will he be within DRS range? He actually is. He's got 8/10 of a second between him and Armchair. Does Gasly. He will have DRS down the Camel Straight. This will help him massively when it comes to gaining on Armchair. But actually, if you have a look now, Geordie is just over, I should say, a second between him and Gasly. So Gasly's going to have to get a little bit of a move on here if he does not want to lose that position to Geordie. Because Geordie will not take this line or sitting down. He will be super aggressive as he does want to make a move for the lead of the Grand Prix as there's 2 laps remaining. They are on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. It's definitely going to be a very tight battle between Armchair Bike, Geordie and Gasly 10. We're actually going to go to chain game real quick as he's now got a run on his teammate heading through Brussels. Dr. Dre locks the inside front very marginally or very briefly. Head into the corner with no name. It looks like Chain Game's going to have to sit behind his teammate for a little bit longer, but we want to go back to this battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. It's going to get very tight. Gasly runs a little bit wide, heading onto the straight. Geordie now is within a second, so he will have DRS. But he's 3/10 of a second between him and Gasly, but Gasly's actually lost a little bit of time to Armchair Bike. So he will most likely get DRS, but unfortunately he will not get the amount of slipstream that he wants. But will we see Geordie dive down the inside, heading into the bus stop chicane? He moves his car down the inside, and he makes a move there. Does Geordie? Will they make contact? They get very close to, but it looks like Gassie's trying to hang it down the inside. But Geordie, with the wider line, will have the better traction. Most likely heading out of the corner, they're going to go side by side, heading into La Source. But it looks like Geordie will be slightly ahead of Gasly. He's going to try and push him out wide, and it looks like Gasly has now been demoted back down to P3. This is only good news for Armchair because now Geordie is out of DRS range by the looks of it. But now Gasly will try and make a move as they do head on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Will he be able to make a move? He does. He goes to the outside now. Does Gasly 10. He's going to move himself back up into P2. But I'm not too sure because Geordie will most likely have the slipstream or the better toe down the back straight. It's a much better run there. Does Geordie does cut the corner though, but now they're going to get side by side heading into Brussels. They go. Geordie is deeper on the brakes, and now they move up into P2 again. Does Geordie on that fresh set of soft tyres? He's able to run a lot deeper than Gasly 10. No, actually, Chain Game and Dr. Dre are still going at it. They have swapped positions a few times as well. Nothing useless as the cat has unfortunately had to come into the pits. I think he may have got a bit of front wing damage. But the two camp bosses are going at it. Chain Game has now got ahead of Dr. Dre as he is on the softer compounded tyre. Geordie actually runs really wide there through that left-hander, so that's going to definitely compromise him. Heading down the short straight here. Gets to the corner for the final section of that chicane section. But now will Gasly be close enough to make a move heading into the bus stop chicane? He will have slipstream. Looks like Armchair will win this Grand Prix. He's got a big enough lead, but Gasly is gaining on Geordie. Will he have enough though? Will it be enough, I should say? Heading through Blanchi, Money keeps it. Foot planted to the floor. Will he dive down the inside? He's going to try and do it. He doesn't though. He sits behind Geordie. I definitely would have tried and gone a bit deep. But anyway, it looks like for the feature race, Armchair Bike is going to win the Belgium Grand Prix. Gasly 10's actually going to come home P2. On track, he's going to come home P3. But after time penalties, Geordie picked up. Geordie's going to have to settle for P3 in the end. P4 will be Plebs for the Trident team. P5 will be Cross F1 for the Viterzi team. Congratulations to our top 3 podium getters. As the rain, as you can see on your screens now, is starting to come down. Very lucky there. There was any potential safety cars that could have affected the end of the race. Chain Game Wow is going to come home ahead of his teammate with a tight last lap battle between him and his teammate Dr. Dre 3000. Ryan is fat. It's coming through the final corner now. Unfortunately, he's got to deal with the bit of rain. So is useless as the cat, BK, and Ken 10 mile. But Ryan's going to come across the line now. He's going to come home P8 for Arden. Won't be where he wants to be considering his teammate did win the race. Useless as the cat is now heading through the final corner. The MP Motorsports driver is going to come home P9 in the Grand Prix, taking home 2 points for his championship standings and the MP Motorsports Constructors standings. BK is going to come home P10, taking home the final point available to the drivers. And Ken 10 miles rounding out the final corner now. Onto the straight he goes. And he will come home P11 for the Grand Prix. That has been your feature race. Stay tuned as well, as there is a sprint race still the drivers have to do. I do believe it will be probably 10 laps. 10 or 11 laps it will be. Big congratulations to our podium getters. There it is, as you can see. Geordie, it's not showing up with any time penalties there actually, so I'm not too sure what's happened with Geordie. I don't think he made a move, but Gasly actually had time penalties there, but so did Armchair. So I'm not too sure what's happened there, but anyway, Armchair, as we said, wins the Grand Prix. Oh, okay, so it is a glitch. Unfortunately there, we've just had confirmation that Geordie actually did win the Grand Prix. It's just a little glitch on my screen, unfortunately. Hopefully, does that reset it? No, unfortunately. So Geordie did actually win the Grand Prix there. I do apologise for that. It's a little glitch on the game. Armchair Bike's going to come home P2. I do believe then it will be Gasly, and P3. P4 will be Plebs Then rounding out top 5 will be Crossy F1 for the Tercy team. And the 2 Camp Bosch drivers of Chain Game Wow and Dr. Dre in P7 and P6 and 7. P8 will be Ryan is Fat. P9 will be Useless as the Cat, the only MP Motorsport driver. Here this afternoon, rounding out top 10 will be BK ahead of Ken Tenma, and the 2 retirements, unfortunately, was Banana Josh and Bullet Boy. So now we're going to head over to the grid for the feature race, not the feature race, the sprint race, which will most likely be 10 or 11 laps. We'll see you in a minute. As you can see on your screens now, the drivers are heading out for their formation lap 4. How many laps? It's actually only 9 laps in this Grand Prix. So, Ryan is Fat will start on pole position as he did finish in P8 for the feature race. He's actually pushing pretty hard on this formation lap, but anyway. Dr. Dre is in P2 at the moment. He's got his teammate right behind him of Chain Game Wow. Anyway, Crossy is in P4 at the moment for the Tercy team, who is leading plebs in P5. P6 will be Geordie F1, who did win the feature race just before. P7 will be Gassy 10, and then running at your top 8, who won the... So I'm not too sure what's actually happened then, because now that's unfortunate for Armchair, because he's going to have to start from P8 when Geordie actually won that race, so... I'm not too sure what's happened there, but anyway, Useless as the Cat will be in P9, and then running at your top 10 will be BKXI. P11 will be Ken Tenma. P12 will be Banana Josh F1, who unfortunately retired from the feature race before, and so will Bullet Boy, who unfortunately retired from the race before as well. Only the top 8 in this Grand Prix do get awarded points, so it'll be a tight battle. Especially, we'll have to see how Armchair, Gassy, Geordie, and plebs go, moving up the order. So Ryan's pushing very hard on this formation lap. He's going to be a bit ahead of everyone. Let me know in the chat your top 3 predictions for the sprint race. No pit stops are required to the drivers for this race, so it'll be a full sprint, full 9-lap sprint around the Belgium Grand Prix circuit, the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Drivers are now forming up on the grid for the Grand Prix. So Ryan Fat's going to be sitting there for quite a while, considering he did push that formation up very quickly. He was a fair bit ahead of the other drivers. Now waiting for Banana Josh to form up on the grid. It doesn't look like Bullet Boy's here, unfortunately, so we only have 12 drivers starting this race. Waiting for the light sequence to begin. Green flags have been waved, as you can see on your screens now. The light sequence has begun. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers, and they are underway. Ryan is Fat gets a nice start there, but it actually looks like the driver behind, that's Crossy F1, that looks like he's got a better run. Heading into turn 1, they're making it 3 wide, heading into the source. And they have made all contact, so the 2 Campos drivers, it wasn't Crossy I should say, that was Chain Game Wow and Dr. Dre, and they're leading the way. So the 2 Campos drivers lead the way, heading up, ready on, and El Rouge they go. But they did actually make contact, so any of them could potentially have front wing damage. Ryan is Fats unfortunately dropped a few positions off the start. He's gone back down to P3, but it looks like Dr. Dre now is trying to make a move on his teammate for the lead of the Grand Prix. Crossy is also side by side with Ryan is Fat. They're going to potentially go 3 wide, heading into Lacom. Ryan is Fat sticks his nose down there, but Crossy is trying to go around the outside. It looked like Crossy there would have actually gone into the lead, but unfortunately there, Ryan is Fat spun around with contact with one of the Campos drivers, and that forced Crossy 2 on the brakes. So now he's dropped a few positions, has Crossy in that Batersi car, but now they're still going at it. Geordie is now already up into P2, but this Grand Prix, he's got Chain Game well, trying to make a move on him, but they do make contact, and now that moves Armchair Bike up into P3, and Chain Game's unfortunately dropped a few positions. He's got Crossy right behind him, heading through Pool on they go. Will Chain Game, he's run really wide though on exit, but so is Crossy. Useless as a cat is still there as well in P6, Banana Josh in P7, BK in P8, P9 is unfortunately Ryan is Fat, and Renier top 10 has unfortunately dropped a few positions now. Is Plebs, Ken Tenma in P11, P12 is Gasly 10. There's actually another yellow flag and that's Chain Game. Wow, it's unfortunately spun around heading through the chicane. So that's unfortunate there for the Campos driver. They were both looking very good at the beginning of this race. They were both looking very strong, but now Geordie has moved up the most positions out of anyone off the start. Well, he's definitely been the most dominant driver as he did start down the rear of the grid. But now he's trying to make a move on Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre doesn't defend the position too much. He goes much deeper under brakes. Does Geordie F1? Does he pull it up? He does pull it up. Heading into the bus stop chicane. So now that moves Dr. Dre back down to P2 and Geordie into the lead of the Grand Prix. But now Armchair's got a very nice run on Dr. Dre. Heading into La Source they go. Starting the second lap of the Grand Prix, Geordie goes faster, but who will be deeper under brakes? It looks like Armchair will be deeper under brakes, and he moves himself up into P2, forcing Dr. Dre back down to P3. He's got a little bit of a gap now, but now BK is trying to make a move on Useless as a cat. Banana Josh is right there as well in that little tight battle pack. Plebs is trying to catch up. He's had a pretty poor start to the Grand Prix, has Plebs compared to Geordie. Will any of these drivers make a move here? Heading into Lake Con they go. BK looks like he's got a nice run on Useless as the cat. He's going to go side by side. Heading into Lake Con they go. Will he get the move done? He looks like he's deeper under brakes, and it looks like he's gone right around the outside. Has the Carlin drive. Banana Josh has stuck his nose in there, and he's completely turned Useless as a cat. So that's unfortunate for Useless as a cat. Banana Josh went off the track and unfortunately spun Useless as a cat while rejoining the circuit. So Banana Josh will most likely pick up a penalty there. He ran a little bit deeper into Lake Com. It looked like he had 4 wheels off the track and unfortunately spun around Useless as a cat. And now unfortunately Useless as a cat has been disqualified from the session for being parked in a dangerous location. But now Crossy has now moved ahead of Ken Tenma for the Grand Prix. Yellow flag in Sector 2 for that incident at Lake Com between Banana Josh and who was that, sorry? Useless as a cat. They'll not be happy with that, will the MP Motorsports driver. Armchair Bike still sitting in P2 at the moment. Geordie's now pulling away as they have started their third sector on lap 2. They're about to start lap 3 of 9 in this Grand Prix. Dr. Dre's fallen off that little battle pack a bit. BK's now got his eyes on Dr. Dre and that Campos car in front of him. Banana Josh will be under investigation by the stewards. Plebs is now trying to make a move around the outside. He goes. Does Plebs? Will he make a move? Banana Josh doesn't give him any room whatsoever on the exit of the first part of the bus stop chicane. Forces Plebs out wide, and he will have to settle for P6 for a little while now. Will Plebs heading into La Source they go. Banana Josh runs too deep into the corner. Now they're going to go side by side, potentially heading into El Rouge. No, they don't. So Plebs is going to wait for Slipstream and DRS heading down the Camel Straight. Heading into Radion and El Rouge they go. He's definitely got the better run here, has Plebs. Banana Josh runs wide at the top of Radion, so now Plebs is going to probably move up into P4, P5 rather, as Banana Josh does not have Slipstream or DRS. He's been very aggressive this race as Banana Josh, I should say. But now he's dropped the position down to P6 for this Grand Prix. P7 will be Crossy F1. Leading the Campos driver of Chain Game well, I think just made a move on Gasly 10. Yellow flag in Sector 1 and 2. Who's up for? That's actually Ryan is Fat and Ken Tenma, who I think just had a little bit of an incident there. Now Gasly 10 still trying to make his way up, and now Chain Game well is in the wall, heading into the corner with no name. Campos driver's days gone from bad to worse. He was leading the Grand Prix very briefly, but unfortunately, he's now been dropped all the way back down to P9, so now Gasly 10's moved up into P8. Final points paying position for this F2 sprint race. Banana Josh is trying to keep with the rear. Well, trying to keep with that Trident car in front of him of Plebs. He's a little bit too far back though to make a move or be in the slipstream of any drivers with Geordie now, as he's about to start lap 4 of this Grand Prix. Just under halfway completed of this Grand Prix. Armchair still keeping with Geordie in theory. Well, really, he's got to try and get that gap under a second, and he will be able to get that DRS, which should edge him a little bit closer to Geordie in front of him. Dr. Dre still holding on to P3 for Campos, but he's got BK starting to catch up to the rear of him in that Carlin car. Plebs is also getting a move on as well, trying to catch up to that Carlin driver on BKXI. He's got that gap down to 1.4 seconds now. A little bit too far behind to make a move this lap. See, Crossy and Gasly are still going at it now. Gasly looks like he has moved ahead of Crossy. That's actually Banana Josh now that has run really wide on the exit of Les Combes. Well, the final part of Les Combes. He's locked up, heading into Brussels as well. Now they're going to be going side by side, heading into the corner with no name, but Gasly manages to get ahead or move himself into P6 now. Does Gasly 10. Banana Josh gets a very bad exit through the corner with no name. They're going to head into P1 now. Will Crossy be able to make a move? Not a corner you normally make a move on drivers. Banana Josh definitely seems to be struggling on this set of tyres. At the moment, Will Crossy dive down the inside. He's trying to stick his nose down there. He's right on that gearbox of that Prema car. Banana Josh runs really wide again on the exit. Does get a bit of oversteer and runs wide through that right-hander. Now that's going to most likely move Crossy into P7 for this Grand Prix. That's moved Banana Josh, or pushed him back down to P8. Chain Gauge now starting to catch up to the rear of this little battle pack here. Banana Josh definitely seems to be struggling at this stage. He's have to try and cool those tyres if he wants to stay in that points paying position, but he has got a nice run on Crossy, heading into the bus stop chicane. Will he be able to make a move? He definitely thought about making a move on the Viterci driver there. Crossy defends the inside line. Wasn't much of a defense move, but he did turn the car in a little bit earlier just to make sure Banana Josh did not make a move, but now they're going to go side by side heading into La Source. Does Banana Josh and Crossy F1? Who's going to be on the inside? It will be Crossy F1. Banana Josh tries to hang it around the outside, but now that's actually pushed him wide. Now Chain Game tried to make a move there on Banana Josh, but Banana Josh had the better traction. I do believe Chain Game actually lost the rear end, trying to put the accelerator down. Banana Josh is right on the rear of Crossy. They do actually make contact at the top of Radion. He will have DRS here. Will Banana Josh? He's going to open it nice and wide. They're making contact. Down the Camel straight they go. And now it looks like Crossy is going to have to go back down to P8 for this Grand Prix. Banana Josh moves himself back into P7. Just stopping Gasly 10. As now, he does not have any pressure from behind, but Crossy's got a lot of oversteer. Will that move the Campos driver Chain Game up into P8? It doesn't look like it. Crossy and Banana Josh both lock the inside front, heading through Brussels. Now into the corner with no name. So Banana Josh has now moved himself back into P7 for that Prema team. And now Plebs has got that gap under a second between him and BK for the battle of P4. But BK is also just marginally out of that DRS range between him and Dr. Dre. He's got to get within that DRS range if he wants any chance at getting on the podium or just staying ahead of Plebs in general. Geordie still leads the way. 1.5 seconds between him and Armchair Bike. It hasn't extended that much. It was 1.4 seconds last time I checked. There's actually now a yellow flag in Sector 3. That's Banana Josh and has put it in the wall. I do believe we're going to run a ball with Ryan. See what's actually happened to Banana Josh, and he's actually in the middle of the road there. He's run a little bit wide through that right-hander. Very easy to run it out wide. Just carry a little bit too much speed there through that right-hander, and the wall is very close to the track there. So unfortunately, Banana Josh has retired from the session, making it a double retirement for Banana Josh for this weekend's feature race and sprint race at the Belgium Grand Prix. Unfortunate result for the Prema team. They're going to pick up absolutely 0 points from this weekend. Has BK got that gap under a second? He has now, but so has Plebs. Actually, no, he hasn't. Unfortunately, Plebs has lost a little bit of time to BK, but now BK does have DRS on Dr. Dre 3000 in front of him. Will he be able to make a move? He's a lot closer this lap. He may or will probably be setting up to make a move heading into the final sector through Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. All this is pretty much just a one-way line heading through Brussels, Pouillon, and this corner with no name. It's all pretty much a one-way line. Plebs has now got that gap down to 0.937, so he's got to probably get that down a little bit further if he wants to guarantee himself DRS on BK in front of him. He's got a lot of oversteer heading into Pouillon there. Car just didn't react when he turned in. Now Gasly 10. MP6 has now got a 3-second time penalty. 4 multiple corner cutting warnings. Must have ran a little bit wide through Pouillon. Now as you can see, Geordie's actually got that gap out to just over 2 seconds, so he's looking pretty comfortable in this Grand Prix at the moment. But now BK will be very slightly in the slipstream of Dr. Dre as they head through Blanchimont. Heading into the bus stop chicane they go now. The Carlin, Campos and Trident driver all battling it out for P3 at the moment. Gasly 10 is going to try and catch up now in that Dams car. Won't be many laps remaining to do so though. We've got to ride on ball with Plebs as he does have the best view of this little battle. Got on the gas a little bit early there, did Plebs. Had to reset the throttle and pushed him a little wide. Now BK will 100% have DRS on Dr. Dre. Heading down the Camel Straight through Radion and El Rouge. I'm pretty sure Plebs will have DRS as well, but he's a little bit too far behind. BK's got a very nice run heading through, or heading down the Camel Straight, down into Lake Com they go. BK's going to try and hang it around the outside, but it looks like Dr. Dre's deeper on the brakes. They do make wheel-to-wheel contact twice through that Lake Com, but as you can see, Dr. Dre's trying to hang it around the outside soon. It looks like he manages to keep the position. BK looks like he's going to have a nice run though heading into Brussels, but it looks like Dr. Dre is going to manage to hold on to that position just for a little bit longer. Dr. Dre will be fighting with his life to get that Campos team what they deserve. He didn't get a very nice run out of that corner with no name there. Dr. Dre's going to defend the inside line. Heading into Pouillon they go. It's a one-way line through there, but now as you can see, BK's got a better run. He's done the under and over on Dr. Dre. It looks like Dr. Dre's going to try and hang it around the outside still. They're going to make again contact. Heading into the chicane they go, and they do make contact again. And now Dr. Dre went into a half spin, and now BK has now moved up into P3 for Carlin. Does Dr. Dre actually have a little bit of front wing damage there? After that contact with BK, wouldn't be surprised if he does. But now Plebs has now got ahead of Dr. Dre, so that's unfortunate there for Dr. Dre. He's dropped a few positions in the space of a couple of corners, but now Gussy's trying to get that gap under a second as well. But now Dr. Dre's got a very nice run on Plebs, heading through Blanchimont they go into the bus stop chicane under the Rolex board. Will he make a move? It looks like he's backing out of that move. They're on Plebs, so now Plebs will be trying to make a move on BK to get himself onto that podium position. As they now start the penultimate lap through La Source they go. Chain Game now has actually got ahead of Crossy F1. I haven't actually realised there's a little battle here, but now will Crossy be able to make a move on Chain Game heading into Lake Com they go, or up El Rouge and Radion onto the Camel Straight. He will have DRS this lap around, Will Crossy. I do believe Chain Game made a move on him heading through La Source at turn 1, but it looks like Chain Game's going to try and defend the inside line, but unfortunately Crossy with that DRS and slipstream, just very powerful down that Camel Straight and manages to move himself back up into P7. This battle is not over yet between Plebs, BK, Dr. Dre, and now Gussy's trying to catch up He may be able to, if he gets within DRS, catch up to Dr. Dre potentially, but I don't think he'll be able to move himself up into P3 unless there is a little incident between these drivers. Uses a lot of curb there, does BK, and that actually made him run very wide and loses the rear end. But now looks, BK's got a very bad run heading into the chicane. Plebs is going to sit behind him for a little bit longer. They do actually make a little bit of contact. Plebs gives him a little love tap there, just letting him know that he is there. But now they're heading through this middle sector. They're about to start, or the end of the middle sector. They're about to start their final sector. Plebs, I don't think, wanted to make a move. He wanted to wait for the slipstream. Down this straight, heading into Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane. Dr. Dre now has a 3-second time penalty, so that's unfortunate there for him. Plebs now has a very nice run on BK. I don't think he'll make a move into the bus stop chicane. He will be waiting for DRS down the Camel straight. He gets very close to the rear gearbox of that Carlin car. Runs it very narrow on exit of the first part of the chicane, then runs it to straight line the exit of the second part. Heading into La Source Echo, BK defends the inside line very briefly. Gets to the apex as both the drivers. BK looked like he had much better traction out of that corner there, bit compared to Plebs. So they do start the final lap of this Grand Prix now. Will Plebs be able to make a move on BK? He's going to have DRS and slipstream. He's going to open that DRS right about now. Dr. Dre does have slipstream and DRS as well, but unfortunately he's not close enough. Will Plebs be able to make a move? He's going to go to the outside line, heading into Lake Com they go. I don't like this camera angle. Why? Anyway, now BK has now unfortunately lost that position to Plebs. So now Plebs has moved himself up into the podium paying spots. BK has unfortunately had to drop down back to P4. Dr. Dre's right there as well. He locks the inside front again, heading through Brussels. But now into the corner with no name they go. Gussie 10 is there now as well. He will have DRS. Actually, no, unfortunately there is no more DRS zones besides the main straight left around the Spa circuit. So BK gets a nice run out of this next section of corners here. He may be able to get a nice toe or slipstream down the back straight on Plebs to make a move into the bus stop chicane. But Dr. Dre is was there very briefly, but now he's got Gussie behind him as well, because Dr. Dre got a lot of oversteer heading through that left-hander. Got the car up onto the curb, but Dr. Dre will not want to give up this position to Gussie. Runs it out very wide, nearly does the banana Josh. Did Dr. Dre, but now BK doesn't look like he'll get a move done on Plebs. But Gussie's a lot closer at this stage. Will he be able to make a move? He's actually very close as Plebs. Sorry, is BK, but now they do make contact there. Does BK, but now he's going to try and dive down the inside as BK. They do run very deep. And Plebs leaves in the room, but now BK's going to try and make a move. And now he actually gets the move done, does BK. He was very deep into the corner. And that could definitely be one to be checked by the stewards. But anyway, now Crossy moves up into P5 for Vitersi after time penalties. But Armchair Bike does win the Grand Prix ahead of Geordie F1. So Geordie must have actually had time penalties in that Grand Prix because he did win on track. But unfortunately, Armchair Bike wins the Grand Prix, I do believe. Hopefully that is correct. Hopefully RaceSpec can update me on that. But anyway, BK will come home P3 ahead of Plebs in P4 after that very nice move there from BK heading into the bus stop chicane. He was very deep under brakes. Plebs left the door open. It didn't defend the inside line much, did Plebs, and BK managed to get the move done. Crossy's going to come home P5 after time penalties as well for the Vitersi team. But that is your RaceSpec F1 Esports PS4 F2 Sprint Series at the Belgium Grand Prix. Congratulations to our top 3 podium getters. And to the Arden team for taking out the win as well. But anyway, we're going to have a quick look now at the weekend results. Armchair Bike ends up winning the Grand Prix weekend of 40 points ahead of Geordie F1 MP2 with the Sauber team. 8 points separated those two. 7 points rather. 8 points. I don't know. My maths is terrible. Plebs is in P3 for Trident as well. He came home on 22 points. Then it will be Gussie 10 in P4 for Dams, who unfortunately had a pretty disappointing sprint race or second race at the Belgian Grand Prix. P5 will be Crossy 4 for the Fatersi team. P6 will be Chain Game Wow for Campos leading BK. MP7, P8 will be Dr. Dre 3000. P9 will be Ryan's Fat and the Renegade. Your top 10 will be Useless as a Cat. Kent 10 Mile will come home P11, who unfortunately didn't score any points. And Banan Josh, who unfortunately retired from both the sprint and feature race, will come home P12, taking home 0 points for the Prema team this weekend. But that has been your Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 F2 Sprint Series. My name is Expert. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do apologise, my commentating was a bit off this morning. I'm a little bit tired still. But stick around as well. The 2010 Classic Series will be starting in around half an hour's time, so do stay tuned on the channel for that. But for now, my name is Expert, and I will see you guys next time.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through.